All right, everybody, we are back. It's another Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Welcome to the Relationship Gumbo Podcast Live Edition. We have an excellent topic and an extra special guest that we have tonight, but I'm going to introduce her in a second. The first thing I want to do is tell you to share and invite this with your friends and family. We're going to talk about why it's important to state your intentions before you date or even get into the beginning parts of a relationship. And we're going to really kind of do a small deep dive into it, but we're going to get into it. So as you come in, let us know that you're here. Let us know if you're here on the replay, because we love the replay viewers too. And, if you know anybody who's having a little problem in the dating arena or somebody that's contemplating getting back into the dating field, we're going to give you a couple of little things to look out for, a couple of little tips and things like that, so that you can have hopefully some better results. So I am going to take 30 seconds to make sure that the podcast is broadcast to Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope so that everything is doing what it's supposed to do. So give me 30 seconds and I'll be right back.
Okay, everybody wants good love, that's true, I know. Derek Jones about to break it down with the Relationship Gumbo. Welcome to the podcast. Ain't no doubt we all need this, cause better relationships need better ingredients, so if you want better relations, it's about communication, finding love, staying together. We all wanna make it better, yeah. Derek Jones, the host, your relationship coach. Thank you all for tuning in. Relationship Gumbo,
All right, we are back. Everything is good to go. I welcome you again. Anybody that's coming in, let us know you're here. Let us know where you're chiming in from. And please share and invite with your friends and family. This is going to be an excellent show tonight. And like I said, we have a special guest that I'm going to introduce in a second. If you are here for the first time, this is a live podcast recording. So we're recording audio to put on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 seconds to pause. We're going to start the actual podcast portion that's going to be uploaded. And then at the end of the podcast portion, I'm going to pause for another 3 seconds to kind of end it off. And then we can have free conversation or questions after that. But you also have the opportunity to make statements and questions during the show. And if it's pertinent to the topic, then I'll add them in live. So feel free to throw any questions or statements or comments out there while we're recording. So without further ado, we're going to get going. So hold on for 3 seconds. And welcome to another episode of the Relationship Gumbo Podcast. My name is Derek Jones, and I am your host. I am a certified life coach, a strategist, an engineer, and a mental health advocate. And tonight, we're going to talk all about intentions. It's that thing that a lot of people don't really think about or do when they're entering in a relationship, because we lead with emotions and we just want to be with somebody. We don't think about, telling people what we're looking for sometimes. And so we're going to talk about that. And tonight I have a special guest, a friend to the show, one of our biggest supporters, and she has a voice that needs to be heard. And we're going to bring her up here in a second. Miss Michelle Ford, we're going to bring you up here and we're going to unmute you. And what I want to do is ask you to introduce yourself and, just, let us know how you're doing and how's everything going. And we're going to get right into it.
Hey, first of all, thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone. Like Derek said, I don't have all those crazy titles and things in front of my name, but I am a huge supporter of the show. I'm glad to be here. And I just think this is a very important topic. I think it sets the stage. It can help prevent misunderstandings. I just think it's very, very important. And I'm glad to be here discussing this with you today.
Excellent. And we're going to get it in. Like I always, catch Michelle when she's doing her lives and she has a voice that needs to be heard. So I wanted her to be on here so that she can bring in her life experience, right? Because, like she said about the title, sometimes the life experience outweighs the titles because we've been through some things, right? So I've kind of chopped this up into 3 categories. So I'm going to start with the first one, which is very simply, why do intentions matter? So we are going to, the intentions, what we're talking about here, just to give you context, is when you meet someone or you start dating them or you start building a friendship, and sometimes even right before that friendship starts to become a relationship, like a very serious one, you want to try to tell people why you're there, what you're looking for, who are you to me? Why, we've been chilling for this long and I don't know where this is going. And a lot of times that's because people are afraid or maybe don't even think about telling people where they are in that. Have you had some experiences like that, Michelle?
I definitely have. And I think too, sometimes people just assume. People assume that you're looking at it, that they assume that the other person is looking at it the same way they are.
Right. Bingo.
Like I'm just looking at this as a friend, so I'm assuming that they only know we're just hanging out, or it could be, the assumption that I'm hanging out with you with the intention of it being more. So apparently, since you're spending all this time with me, you feel the same. So I think it's fear and just people also just making assumptions of how the other person feels too. But yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why I wanted to jump in, that word assumption is huge. And I didn't even think about that. But a lot of us do assume that the other person just knows, right? Mm-hmm. And stating your intentions up front avoids confusion. And what I always used to do, way back in the day, is I used to lead with the biggest gift I'm going to give you is my honesty about what I want. Mm-hmm. And then you can make an informed decision early. And if you don't like it, you have the opportunity to roll early. I used to do that because I had to learn that just because I like somebody don't mean they like me. And I had to be okay with that, right? And so just on this first topic about why they matter, we want to set the stage for the rest of the show by saying, especially and it can go both ways, right? Men and women get it confused. Men and women choose to kind of be afraid to enter that in. So I'm gonna ask you a question about you. Have you ever been afraid? Have you ever been afraid to tell somebody what you wanted? Like you just wanted to kind of go with the flow and maybe see what happens instead of saying, "Look, I'm looking for this," or "I'm not looking for this," or "This is what it is." Have you been in a situation where you've been afraid or apprehensive of letting that person know?
So I've never been afraid. I will say I've been apprehensive. Mm-hmm. Now, let me just say, in my personal experience, for the most part, I either went into things where we just knew we were friends, or the person was honest saying, "I'm interested in you." So that let me know up front, okay, I need to let him know I don't see him the same way. So there have been times where, because the person didn't up front say, "I'm interested in you," I just made the assumption that they weren't. So we were just hanging out,
right?
As friends. But I have been apprehensive, and I'm a little ashamed to say that this was a little more recent, and I'm very outspoken, so I don't know why I was apprehensive. I think because he was such a nice guy, I didn't want it. I didn't want him to take it the wrong way. But I recently, within the last few months before the pandemic, I had a situation where I was a little apprehensive because it was an impromptu hangout, and I thought it was just platonic. But midway through, I started getting the googly eyes, and then you start throwing out, because when I start dating someone, and I was like, wait a minute now, huh? No. And when he kept kind of reaching out, wanted to take me out and things, instead of me just saying, "I think you want something different," or "You're looking at this different," I just kind of avoided. Or I didn't ignore him, but I would kind of avoid those questions when it came to maybe hanging out, when I should have just been up front and said, "Okay, I don't mind hanging out, but maybe I want to make it clear that you're not looking at it as something different than I'm." And I've never had a problem saying that, but for some reason with this person, I don't know why I did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we're gonna unpack that in a second. So that's a good segue into The second topic, which is what I'm going to call intention hibernators, right? And I'm going to define that for you guys. I just made that up today. People who have an intention in their mind of who they're going to be to you, what they want from you, but they don't tell you, and they wait a long time. They spend a bunch of time with you, and then the real them comes out later, and it's like, this is what I really wanted. And it may be months later. Shoot, it may even be a year later. Who knows? That's the way these people roll, right?
That spirit in me. You see me rocking. You see the back and forth. Now that I can. Oh Lord.
So I might ask you a question about, a possible scenario that you may or may not have been in a minute, but I want to lead this with attention hibernators sometimes do it because they may be afraid of the response. Some of them are a little more nefarious, and they up to no good, and they just not going to tell you until it's too late. And so the more nefarious person may think, and I can't even, they kind of cross lanes a little bit, but a lot of times people in general, male or female, will not tell you because they think if they do, then you'll leave. Right? Mm-hmm. How selfish is that?
It is selfish. So, you have to give people the choice. You have to give people the choice to move forward with you.
So they will not tell you what their true intentions are. And I can speak for men. A lot of men do this because they assume that if they tell you what they really want, you're gonna be out of there. I'm not going to expound on that too much because we got number 3 coming, and it's going to fall into the category of explaining that. But a lot of people, when they see something they want, or they think you're nice, and they don't want to lose that, selfish as hell, then they'll hide how they really feel, and they won't tell you anything because they think you're going to go somewhere. And I'm purposely not talking too much about it because number 3, we're going to do a deep dive on what that really looks like under the hood. So my question to you, Michelle, is have you been in a situation where you had a hibernator that hibernated for a long time and then came out way later and it was kind of like, wow?
Yes. Yes, I have had that situation. I've had that more than once, but one situation in particular that stands out to me, this was years ago, okay? I was a young adult, maybe like late teens, very early 20, like maybe 20, around that age. So he and I were both still at home, living at home. But we developed he was a real nice guy, really cool. I mean, I was very, we had a good vibe, but I was not attracted to him physically. I was not attracted to him romantically. I didn't see him, but I loved spending time with him, and we really started spending a lot of time together. I'm talking about not just going out, but I mean, I would hang out with his family and his, and one night, and before anyone says this, no, he wasn't paying for everything. So I wasn't just going out and he was footing the bill. It was kind of like we were equally, whether it was Dutch or he buy the movie tickets, I buy the food or something like that. But one night, after a while of spending time together, he kind of went in for the kiss, and I did the Matrix on him, and he didn't understand. He was like, "What is going on?" I thought, and I'm like, "No, what do you mean? You thought like this is not that type of. This is not. No, it's not going down like that. I don't see you that way." And it actually did put a strain in. We drifted apart kind of from that, which was unfortunate because we really did have a good time together, but I have had that happen. And, it was obvious at that point that these were feelings he was harboring from early on, and it just didn't come out until that later time. But I have been there, and I didn't mean to hurt his feelings, by swerving, but it caught me off guard, Yeah.
The other side of this too is not just the person who's not stating their intentions, but it's also the people who know that this person has a certain intention and they don't want it and they still let it keep going.
Mm-hmm. That's different.
That's the other side of it.
Yeah.
So
that's different.
Yeah. So it's like
Uh-oh, looks like you froze, Derek. If you
Yeah,
could
it should be back. It should be
okay, there you
back
go.
now. Yeah. So let's say I state my intentions and the other person agrees to it, but
Mhm.
inside they not really ready for it, but they don't want to lose you, right? There's another side to it where that person
Yes.
just a lot. And I'm gonna tell you a little story because everything comes from a place. So so
You get ready for this one.
and then I'm gonna touch on some of the comments that I'm seeing scrolling up here. So way back in the day, back in the single days, right? When there was this one particular woman that I was really interested in, right? You know how we get infatuated and we think, I really want to chase this person, and I really was like on some super gentleman, we was going out on all these dates, and it wasn't like we was going to like Fridays. It was like some serious, like I was really trying to, hey, I'm here.
Right.
And we never had the discussion of intentions. So
Mhm.
I'm doing all these dates and we just having a ball and everybody's having fun. And I'm paying for everything. That's what I do. I want to make sure I'm taking care of stuff. And
Yeah.
and I want to say like maybe after like 15, 20, outings, I was like, I gotta make my play. I'm gonna let her know that I'm really want to like be in her life. And I was like, yeah. So look, this is what I want. And she was like, wait, we're just friends.
After 15 or 20.
And I was like, yo, we didn't go on any hangouts. These were dates. These were like, and I was like, what? And she was like, oh, I thought we was just friends. What are you talking about? And I was like, really? That's what we doing? Valentine's Day, all that stuff rolled through the time. So I'm like, I was like, what?
He knew from the start. See, her intentions, in my opinion, I don't know her, don't want to know her. Her intentions from the beginning was to get what she was getting out of that situation. That's my opinion.
She got a lot of food.
Okay. You start taking
that though. It was like just a bunch. I'm just, I'm doing what I'm doing. We having fun or whatever, good company, whatever. It wasn't no, we are or aren't dating, but it damn sure felt like dates. And she wasn't saying no, it's not a date. It was just like she was just going along with it. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me.
But let me ask you a question. And in this case, she knew what was going on. There are people,
of course,
they know, he's taking me to the good places. I'm eating the good food. She wasn't going to say anything until you made your move. She wasn't going to, She knew how you were feeling based on your actions and the quality of what you were doing. She knew your intentions. But let me ask you this. Do younger people even have those conversations about intentions? Like I know at 40 and over, I know at 40 and over, we've been through some things, we know more, we have that wisdom. I think we're more open to that conversation. But do younger people, because when I look back, I'm like, I don't know if I ever really had that until something happened. It's like usually it took something to happen to have that conversation. But do younger people just do it up front? I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because we can't even say young people now because we have some older people out here trying to act like they young or they live in this carefree lifestyle, right?
Yeah,
and
that is true.
And I'm definitely gonna get to the comments because I see some stuff over there.
Oh shoot, I wasn't even.
There's some people. Yeah, like some of the comments are addressing it too, but a lot of these young people just don't care because there was a time where you dated with a purpose, where you courted and I'm here and I want to try to pursue you and all that. Well, they had some really horrible examples of relationships, from when they were kids. We're talking about millennials and younger, right?
Yeah.
So now they're like, I don't want that. So we just gonna hang out. We just gonna swipe left and swipe right and see what happens. I don't think that those conversations are happening in mass. I think there's still some traditional people out here. And so when we talk about older people, I think a lot of people are giving up. That's my opinion. Like, I think people are giving up on finding the one.
Yeah.
Settling for finding what's here.
That's sad.
It is sad. I'm not
That's
saying
sad.
everybody. I'm saying it's a lot of people that's like, I don't never want that. Like, I'd rather just have somebody to kind of be my companion for the rest of my life. But all that extra stuff, nah. I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot. So
what is the extra stuff? What is the extra stuff they
extra
don't
stuff
want?
meaning marriage, meaning,
Okay.
like full blown like commitment. Like we might be sharing bills one day or something like that. They don't want none of that. They're just like, I just want you to be here, but I don't want you to be here, because then that means, if something go wrong, I'm stuck. Like they don't want to commit that deep. They're not even committing to dates. They're just like, we just hanging out. And I'm like, okay, so when does it go past that? And it's like, all right, who cares? So
that is I agree. That is true. That is true. Do people even, I mean, I know we're talking about intentions, but yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Because now you have
get off on a tangent. I was starting to think of something else, but yeah, I agree.
So you have people out here that are just tired, right? And I'm not saying it's an excuse, but it's like, even with men, right? And I come from a certain era, so it doesn't really resonate with me. But you have men out here that's like, I'm not taking her on no full-blown date and I got to pay the whole thing. What kind of skin in the game does she have? And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
If you are interested and you put forth, this is my thing. If you put forth the effort to get to know her and you get to the point where you're going out, then if I'm the chaser, it's on me to take that gamble to see if it's worth my time. Why am I trying to divvy up bills and trying to figure out, okay, she paid what? I paid more, so wait. And I'm like, what kind of... So I'm going to go to the comments real quick because I'm confusing myself right now.
I couldn't hold that one in. I was trying not to laugh.
Everybody talking about entanglements.
I wasn't even paying attention to the comments.
So wow, hold on, let me go back. So Latasha Carpenter, she forwarded, because she started a watch party, she forwarded a comment from Ashton in her watch party that says, people need to stop being afraid. I learned in my life to be bold and open my mouth, but if the person doesn't like what's coming out your mouth, then the relationship is in for found out to find a man that can love you for who you are. I found a man. Yeah, all that. The next one, Alicia said I had a lot going on before her.
Apparently, right, Alicia?
Tasha Carpenter says on Facebook, things break down when you decide to change the rules. What you start with, you end with. If you change how you start, it's going to end.
But see, that's where another conversation needs to come into play too, because I believe you could go and, like, for instance, if the guy that I did the Matrix on, if he would have been upfront with me from the beginning and just said, I'm really feeling you, that could have given me the choice to say, well, I don't see you that way. And if he still wanted my company, at least we could have moved forward with him with an understanding. And then maybe after spending time with him, what if my feelings changed? That would have been a conversation to say, well, you know what? My intention was not anything more than a friendship with you, but I'm spending time with you. I'm getting to know you. And now I'm feeling something. That never happened. I never felt different. But, I think you can always come back to the table.
That's where the fear comes in for a lot of people. They feel like once they start spending that time, if they say it too soon or they start, then that means they're going to lose that. Like, people don't think that, like, if my intentions push you away, then if they push you away, maybe it's not supposed to be that way. Possibly, right? So you got to be able, and that to me comes from how much you love yourself, your self-esteem, your self-worth, to be able to take that rejection if it happens and know that you can get back on the horse at some point and keep it moving. When you hibernate for that long, you setting yourself up to be a miserable mess afterwards. Once that person is like, wait, I didn't know this is what we had fun. We went out and went to happy hour and we played pool at the pool hall and all that. It was fun. But nobody said anything. Like, when did we have this discussion? So,
No, but that's true. That is true. I think it's really about giving people the choice too and how they want to move forward with you by stating the intentions. And then even on the person that has the feeling side, okay, you could take the risk of losing out because that person could choose not to move forward knowing your feelings, but it could be the reverse. Maybe that person says, okay, you have feelings for me. I don't look at you that way, but I still want to spend time with you. It may be the person with the feelings that says, you know what, I like you too much to just move forward with you as just
yeah,
that would be too hard for me to do, knowing how I feel about you. So you're giving yourself options too and helping to prevent things for yourself too. It's not always the person without the feelings that you're helping by being upfront with your your intentions. Like
yeah.
you could have dodged the bullet with this 15 to 20 time chick, and I don't know why that's pissing me off because I know her
Oh, it pissed me off too.
I
I
know
was
what her
like,
intentions
but
were
see,
from the beginning.
but see, I was green. I was green, and I was doing all of this extra without the feedback.
Yeah.
Right? I was
Yeah.
just happy to be there. And so even though I may be upset that she didn't like give me any signals, that's the whole point. We looking for signals when we need to be getting some hard
Yeah. Yeah.
statements of this is waste. Who wants to waste time?
Yeah.
Who wants to waste time? Nobody wants this, especially once you get to a certain point in your life, age-wise. Nobody, all this matters. 20 days is a long time. We're not doing that. When I was in my 20s, that was cute. We've been out all these times. Nah, now, not now, but you know what I mean. People that are over 40 or over a certain age, nah, that ain't cute no more. Everything should matter to you after a certain point, unless you're just out here playing around like a lot of people are. So to the comments real quick. Mystic So Dope from Periscope says older people are tired and we don't want to waste no more of our time. Just say that. So a lot of us are up front. Hold on. I missed another comment. Hold on 1 second here. Latasha Carpenter says people believe in Tina Turner. What love got to do with it? So many divorces, especially in our community. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Here come all the entanglement comments. Alicia says a bunch of entanglements. Mystic Soul from Periscope says younger people always on that 50-50. That's true. Everybody want to be like, how much you pay, how much I pay. I just maybe I'm a little long in the tooth on this one, but I don't understand how whoever is the person who is paying for the date is divvying up how much you pay. Why are we on date number 5 trying to figure out who's 50?
Yeah.
That
especially at 40 something years old, really? Like, no.
Ashton says, in this generation, a lot of people don't believe that they should have to pay for things. I am one of those people that believe that women should pay for their own stuff like they want to be equal, to a man. I don't want a man to pay for my things because I don't want them throwing things back in my face or saying that they pay for something or hanging it over me like a slave. I don't want people paying for anything that when and use it against me. So we know that comes from a place, right? So let me talk about that real quick. There exists a population of us that we were trained to just handle it as a man, right? But like we talked about earlier, it's a new breed of people out there that they want to play a game where we keep a score on a piece of paper to try to figure it out, and that lends itself to what Ashton is talking about. Yeah. When somebody feel like they doing more, then they feel like you owe them something, or they're gonna hold it over your head. Like, well, I did pay for the last 3 dates, so what's up? Or that to me, it just it bothers me, but I know it happens, and it's not just young people. It's it literally could be in just because you're a certain age don't mean you grew up, right?
Yeah, that is true. Wow. That is true. I don't think I've run into that too. I haven't really run into that at this stage of my life. Even when it has been platonic outings and friends, it's just those type of men who they just take care of it, and it's not You don't even have to know they did it. Like I've been out and have been like, oh, where's the waitress? And the waitress like, oh, you're good. They already, it wasn't something they threw in my face or I'm paying for you. They just took care of it because that's just what they do and how they are. But Matrix do, yeah, that happened one time. Just ordering all kinds of things off the menu. I think I had one dessert, and then when the bill came, it was like, oh, let's split it down the middle. And I was like, hold on, I had a piece of cake or brownie thing, whatever those little restaurants do, and you had, like some entrees and appetizers and all this. Let's split it 50-50.
I can't relate at all.
Like,
I've never been that guy ever, not even once in my life. After a certain amount of time, if we haven't like officially like get to the dating point and the person was like, well, let's just go, no problem. But for me to just be sitting there without us even saying anything, and I'm just like, wait, so who got? Nah, that's a new type of dude out here. Well, maybe not so new because I'm sure there's a lot of men that have been doing it their whole lives. I don't know. Like that comedian, I forget his name. He said, "Who raised you?" I don't know. I don't know. But let me see. LaShawn Belton says communication is the key. And that really is the key. That's a lesson that I had to learn a long time ago, especially when I was out there dating, that when you give, as a man, when you give a woman, like I said earlier in the show, the gift of your honesty and letting them know what your intentions are, then they have the right to leave or stay. Like early. Like I used to do, especially like if I, like as a man, we'll see you and we'll be attracted to you. And then we talk to you and we sometimes kind of, I know this is traditional. We actually had conversations and then we went like all that. I know that's old, but you had the conversation, you start feeling them and you go out one time and it feels organic and the chemistry is there. Like I was the dude, like I always been the attention guy. Maybe I'm just a weirdo, but I would say stuff like I know, if something happens down the line, we're supposed to be friends first. But I'm letting you know today on date number 2, I don't just want to be your friend. So we're not going down that path of let's be buddies. And I'm not doing that. I can't look at you and see like my Monopoly partner. Like that's not the eyes that I'm looking at you with. And that's not the path that I'm on. So if you don't want that from me, then you have the option to say, I don't see you like that. And then I can decide whether I'm going to turn that off or not. Unfortunately, a lot of people just like to just be in it. They like to be entangled and figure it out later after you're the feelings that got involved. And they're like, oh, wait a minute, what are we? So it's crazy.
But people need to believe people too when they tell you their intentions. Now that drives me crazy. And I've seen it, okay? And I have seen it so many times where, and it's not always the man saying this to a woman, so I don't want the women thinking I'm just making it like it could be both ways. But I've seen it where a man has been very upfront with the woman. Listen, I don't want anything exclusive with you. I do really like you. I like spending time with you. I'm not looking for a relationship. Sometimes I spend time, I may go out and hang out with other people sometimes. And the woman will say, oh, it's okay. And then get mad down the road when the man is doing what he said from the beginning he's going to do. Like you thought you were going to change him and change his intentions, but this person told you.
There it is.
From the jump. And I have had female friends that I love to death, but I'm honest with them. Like, why are you mad? He told you. He knew your feelings. And he continued to go on. I don't appreciate that because if he really knew you were into him and he wasn't looking for that, then he should have said, you want more. But he was also upfront with his intentions with you, and you had the choice, But just to get him or to have the time with him or to reserve your spot, you said you were okay with something that you really weren't okay with.
And what I always talk about on this show, especially I only can talk about men. But I know there's probably some women out there that do it too. But I always keep reiterating this point. it's a test and a trap a lot of times when a man says to you, I'm not looking for anything, so let's see where it goes. And whatever happens, happens. And then you say, cool, I'm not looking for anything either. Let's just see what happens. And you lying to him because you really probably want to eventually be in something. And you never said, well, if you don't want anything, that's not the type of guy I'm looking for. You want to be, you want to have, he cute, the chemistry there, you want to hang out. And sometimes it works, right? Sometimes it just accidentally works down the line.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when stuff hits the fan and your feelings get involved, then he says, remember that first day when I told you I didn't want anything? We cashing that in now. Peace out. And you're like, what happened? I thought we were dating. No. You didn't have that conversation. That right there is an automatic way for that person to have a back door later to leave out, and you cannot ever question it. That's the smoke. That's a whole nother conversation. They'll give you the feeling like you're a girlfriend, but they really never meant to be the boyfriend back.
That's what. It must be some type of, because I'm trying to tell you, I was getting ready to ask you, do you ever think that people say, I don't have any intention of more, but they almost have the expectation of the other person as more, or their actions show more? Like, in other words, you're saying, I'm not looking for something, but you're accepting girlfriend and wifey duties from the person that you're telling, I don't want that from you. I don't want a relationship with you, but you're allowing them to do those types of duties towards you. And maybe even you're doing things that a man or a boyfriend or the man would do, but you're saying you don't want that, but your action, I mean, it's the epitome of a mixed signal, right? And as a man, the only reason I would do that is because of my ego. And I'm territorial. So I'm going to make you feel a way so that you don't go anywhere. So I have access to you whenever I feel like it. Gotcha. And then one day when I get tired of it, I can say, wait, remember I said I didn't want anything, right? that back door is always going to be there. He's not going to undo that. Well, for what? He's not going to be like, remember I said I didn't want anything? Well, I changed my mind. Well, some of them do. But a lot of them, they just going to let you ride. You're going to be so happy with the time you spend it. You're not even thinking about saying, hey, you remember when you said that in the beginning? You still feel like that? That conversation don't happen. You're just going along with the emotions. And then one day you get ghosted. And you be like, it's 3-4 months later. How did he ghost? Like, he was in my house. I cooked him dinner. Like he said he liked the chicken wings. What happened? Right. And he's sitting back like, got him. Yeah. Because at some point, you're going to be like, so we've been chilling for a while. I think, it's time for you to meet my mama. And he's going to be like, okay. And then the next day, you're going to be like, his phone number changed. I heard about that stuff back in the day. I don't know if it still happens. But anyway, so we're going to move on to the third one because we can talk about this all day. Okay. So the third topic is, and I'll explain what this means, the side effects of stating your intentions. So what I mean by that is when we state our intentions and we think that we are doing, like I said earlier, I'm giving that gift to you of stating my intentions so you know where I stand. The side effect of you doing that is that you in turn gift yourself the ability to say that you were honest and open about who you are, what you're looking for up front. The side effect of it is that you don't have to lie. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to assume. You're getting it out early so you don't have to waste time and feelings. That's a gift to both of you at the same time to share that. But a lot of times people do not have these open dialogues early, especially when you get to a certain age and time and everything means more. Out the gate, like I met some people back in the day that they was like, look, so I'm gonna need to make sure that you are gainfully employed, and I'm gonna need to make sure that this is not good. Like this date is cute and all, but
I'm not looking for nobody to hang out with. I got enough friends. What are we doing? And I'm like, dang, it's date number one. But I respect it because now I can say this is too much. I don't know if I'm that guy. And now I can choose to go forward or not. So I respect people, whether it's date one or date three early. Mm-hmm. We don't know what's going to happen, but I will tell you what in my heart, what I need in my life at this point, because I know me and I really like you. And maybe one day it'll turn into something, maybe not. But up front, I don't just want to be going to the bar getting shooters every week. It's that we got to grow. I don't want to do that. Right. That's where I'm at in my life. We can be cool, but hey, how you doing, friends, and all that? I'm gonna check your Facebook profile. But I need somebody that's going to go a little further than that. So I'm going to need to divert my time over here. And even if diverting my time over here means I'm sitting in the house for the next 6 months, I'm not going to give you that energy that's supposed to be for somebody else.
Yes. I agree with that 1,000%.
But it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen because if I tell you that and you choose, or you tell me that and I choose that one of the people choose to leave, then I don't have that person in front of me that makes my skin tingle when I see him. Oh, it's a rough place to be. It's a real rough place to be. Because that chemistry, your brain got to be your brain, and what you want for yourself got to be stronger than the feels.
Yeah, it does. I agree. It is like I can understand that being hard for someone. I mean, yeah, you could lose a person that could potentially be something more by stating. I mean, yeah,
it's tough.
It is,
but at the end of the day, you have to be loyal to yourself first, because you aren't in anything with them yet. This is all preliminary stuff, right?
That's true.
If you stick to your guns, that's what I always tell people. If you stick to your guns, it's very hard for somebody to break that. Once you start laxing a little bit, oh, well, he's cute, so he got a good job, or, we had fun at the movies and we ate dinner and it's cool. Once you start relaxing that, then the sky's the limit on what the hell happens next. But if you say, look, I'm looking for a long-term relationship, what are you looking for? Well, I'm not looking for nothing. Okay, well, cool. You're not in the same place that I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, but right now, I got things to do.
And you can't worry about the person walking away because where you just have to.
And that's the trap that a lot of people, especially women, fall into. When that person says, "I ain't looking for nothing," you think if you can wait him out, maybe he'll change his mind one day. It could happen. But that's a gamble.
Guys that do it too, though. There is guys that are like that too. Because that's the place. That's kind of the place where I don't want to say I've always been. Like, I've never been the woman looking for someone, but I'm always open if I run into someone and it's a good vibe. Like, I'm never closed off. And let me say something. I'm never ever that woman that's like, I don't need a man. I've never said that. You won't hear me saying that. Because I think that's crazy when people say that. Okay, we need each other. Okay, but I've always just been that person where this may sound crazy, but I've never really dated with the purpose of. I'm not gonna say never. I've never started out dating someone with that purpose of it, like being like I'm looking for marriage and I'm looking for that end all be all thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've just never been there. And I'm at the place now where I've been, and you even heard me on my lives. I'm not looking to date. If you are a man that is looking for a relationship right now, I'm telling you right now, that is not me. I'm putting my intentions out there, Facebook world and whoever else is listening. But they hover. And they still try to, because we all so cocky that we think we can turn people around. It's crazy, right? You telling the person to their face where you at and what you don't want, and they're like, "Wait, I'm a be the one to change it," and then it ends up being this big mess at the end. And so, as a point of clarification for me, and because I know where a lot of people are in their head, especially in 2020, it's not about saying I'm looking for
marriage or even a long-term relationship. It's more about saying, I'm not going to give you marriage and long-term relationship energy because I'm saving that for somebody that really wants to go there with me. But if you want to play around, I could play around that, and we can do that. But let you know that that's all I see you as. You're not going to get wifey energy. You're going to get we playing around energy. If that's what you want to do, nobody's going to hate you for that. But if you want to get the chicken wings cooked at 3 a.m., that's not going down over here. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. You're not coming over my house to get some chicken wings after you done at the club doing all your little dirt and you calling me talking about I'm hungry. Come on now.
And I think it's important too sometimes, especially if you're spending time with a person, I think don't be afraid to even ask somebody why those are their intentions. You might learn something more about the person, like the person you get what I'm saying. So sometimes people will take your intentions personally, like it's personal against them.
Yeah.
And I can take it personal if someone says, well, why do you feel that way? And I'll explain it. It's not anything personal against you. I'm not saying you're ugly. I'm not saying you're a bad person. This is just where I am for these reasons. And this is why I feel this way, And I'm not a person I have been told I don't want to say I'm a serial monogamous, but I've always been kind of like in long-term relationships. I've never been that person that just kind of dated different people at the same time and did. I've never.
And you know why that is, right? Because you reserve that energy for somebody that you're going to be in something with.
Yeah.
A lot of people now give that energy to the random person that they swipe left on because they lonely. And I'm like, you just gave him that energy and now you worried about, because when you give that energy, that's a lot of you. So when it don't work 2 weeks later, you like, I'm hurt. Why am I hurt? It's only been 3 weeks. And it's like you gave them wifey up front. You gave them all of that.
And some people do it with every person, like you said, that some people do it. That's just what they do with every person. And you're like, haven't you learned yet? Like, what is going on? No judgment, but it's like, come on,
And I don't even want to call it ego, but just me being self-aware of myself way back in the day.
Let me get my look on again.
I would even tell people, because I got to a point where I loved myself so much that if it felt like it might have the potential to be crazy, I was like, bye-bye. And the way I would tell people sometimes is it's not worth me giving up that I have reserved for, that long-term stuff. I don't want to randomly be out here wasting and the chemistry ain't even right on day one. I'm not going to work that hard for something that's supposed to feel right when I'm talking to you and all. No, we're not doing that. So have a good day. And a lot of times when I would do that, they would get like, oh, what's wrong with you? And no. Derek loves me first. In addition to that, I'm not going to put you, like, once you get to a certain age, you got stuff to lose. I'm not going to put you in there. Coming. We've been out on one date. When we going to invite me to your house? No. We're not there yet. What are you talking about? My intentions are to get to know you, and then at some point we will graduate to coming over. Because once you come in, then you feel like you can always just show up. No, we're not there. We just number one. My intentions are we're gonna gradually get to a place where I trust you enough that the stuff that I have to lose, you could be around that stuff, and we cool. If you got a kid, well, guess what? That kid is a part of me. I got stuff to do. I got things that I'm responsible for. So I may not be as available to you as you may like. Blah 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 blah. This is where I'm at. We need to have these discussions so that we don't become toxic to each other.
That's right.
That's why this show is important when we talk about intentions, when we talk about what we want, what we need, it's okay to talk to people and ask people those questions, because then you are informed about what you're getting yourself into. Now, granted, you may not get everything. You may run into a liar, but at least
That's right.
you set the stage. You set the stage up front. Look, ain't nobody, you're not coming over here. You're not gonna be, I'm celibate, or a lot of women that are celibate up front, they be like, look, I'm celibate. You still want to date me? and at that
some
point,
men will run, and then some men will say,
some men want to change. They want to turn you around.
I'm cool with that, and they get mad when they still not getting none. And you like, you thought you were gonna be the one. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you at that point, that guy that thinks he's gonna be the one to make you backslide, you got to be strong enough to say, no, sir.
That's right. Yeah.
No, sir.
That's right.
And the unfortunate thing is, that's the breakdown, is we're not saying no anymore, because we think this is our chance to have somebody, and we're not saying no. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. I don't care how you feel. I'm protecting my peace.
Yeah.
Period. That's the most important reason to state your intentions, is to protect your energy and protect your peace of mind. Period.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, just talking about the communication, about the intentions and things like that, people will ask questions about less, but are scared to ask questions that deal with
exactly
a partner, a life partner, or a relationship. But they'll ask questions about everything, anything else. Yep. So when it comes to that, they're so afraid, or they're so worried, or people don't have those conversations. And I'm like, you know what? This is important. Yeah. Like, why are you so afraid to have these?
I've had so many people that I've coached or talked to, women especially, mostly women, that will say, because men don't share anything, so it's always the women that's saying, like, this is where I'm at, this is how I felt. But a lot of women say they don't ask these questions up front, and they don't state these things up front because they don't want to scare him away. And I'm like, why? If he's afraid of basic questions about what you or statements about what you need and what you're looking for and what your expectations are, whether it's 10 dates in, whether it's 6 months later, if he's afraid of that, you got to question, what's he scared of? What are you hiding? that you are afraid of me saying, this is where I'm at and this is what I want. And the guy is like, why are you asking me so many questions? That's the dude you got to be afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
A grown man, what are your goals for the future? I'm trying, let's talk about, why are you asking so many questions? Nah. What?
But you know what they say though, Derek? They say people want what they want from who they want. So if they look like the package you want, it's almost like, I'll settle.
Yeah.
I'll the things I normally stand my ground on because it's him or because it's her. I'll let that's not that much. It's not that much of a deal breaker anymore. People start to loosen it, and yeah.
Once you give up your integrity that you have for yourself, anything that happens after that, even though we know a lot of it's emotional responses and we can't control our emotions, once you give that up, you open Pandora's box to literally, it could be a great, 90-year marriage down the road, or it could be some traumatic crap. But you open that door once you relax the standards that you have for yourself. Realistic standards, okay, ladies and gentlemen. We're not talking about a list of 5 million things and you like, they got to meet all that. I'm talking about just stuff that that's going to make you feel secure. Mm-hmm. It's okay to have that. It's okay to state that early. This is what this is where I'm at. And if that person says, "Oh, what are you saying? Why are you asking all these questions?" That ain't the one for you.
Yeah.
They might be the one for you later, but today they not ready. And you can't take that project on thinking you're going to turn them into that person, because they may turn into that person 10 years later. You willing to wait that long?
Oh.
You know what I mean? It's I've seen it. You know some people who wanted somebody to be marriage minded and they was waiting on the ring for like 12 years. Come on.
It happens. It happens all the time. Or like you always say with the mask, people give you the intention, you lie, so you okay with it, and then you 10 years down the line, you tired of. I'm getting ready to curse. I'm sorry, producer. I was almost about to say something wrong, but I didn't catch myself. But then you made that choice. You made that choice to ignore it or fake like you were okay with it, and now you're dealing with the repercussions of those things. And look at all the time you lose.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
I have to say, I know, and we're gonna start to wrap this up because we coming at about an hour.
Okay.
We have to, and I know a lot of us deal with a lot of mental stuff and stress and emotional stuff and past trauma, and we got baggage and all that. But you have to get to a point where you put you first. You bring somebody else in, you can shower them with all the love and all this other kind of stuff. But you gotta, like I keep saying, you gotta protect your peace of mind. Because if you lose that, then you open the door for a bunch of mess to enter in. You gotta, and if that person is messing with that peace, then you gotta be like, whoa. You fine and all that. And I love being around you. And when we spooning, it feels amazing. But I can't.
No, you are so people will sacrifice their peace for the wrong things.
Yeah.
People will sacrifice peace for the wrong things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at people like Halle Berry that just go through them. And people in the beginning used to say, oh my God, how could they do this to Halle Berry? And now you start looking at it like, it's something with her and she's disrupting the peace. You know what I'm saying? But people think because it's her, you can deal with it or you can stick it out because you look like her. You know what I'm saying? But
because at the end of the day, we know what Halle Berry looked like, but we don't know Halle Berry.
Okay.
That's what I keep trying to tell people. People like women, men, or whatever, they'll see people on TV and they be like, I wish I was with them. And I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. no, you don't. But anyway, we're gonna start wrapping this up. Any last words you want to say to the audience?
I just want to thank everyone. I'm going to go back and look at the comments. I've been so enthralled and entangled in the conversation that I didn't even look at all the comments. But I just appreciate everybody tuning in, and we could go on and on about this. But yeah, I definitely appreciate everyone's input and all the comments. I'm going to go back and look at them when we get off of here. But I just appreciate everybody taking their time and being here because you did not have to be here. So appreciate you. Thank you. And
so we're going to wrap up the podcast portion, guys. So what I want you to do is go to www.relationshipgumbo.net. The podcast is there. All of the historical live shows are there, all in one place. You can attach to all my social media on there, Instagram, Twitter, all Periscope, everything. Everything's there. So check that out. Please binge the podcast. If you are a podcast listener, whether it's Apple Podcast, Spotify, Alexa on your Fire Stick. If you don't even have an Alexa device, you got a Fire Stick, just tap that little button and say, play podcast Relationship Gumbo, and it come up on your TV too. I'm everywhere. So check it out. There's 42 episodes for you to binge. Well, this is 43 tonight. So it's a lot of content out there. We're going to keep bringing meaningful stuff. We're going to bring real people on here. I have experts on here all the time, but it's nothing that you can connect to more than some people's real stories, real experiences, so that you can see yourself, see your family members, see your kids in there, and you can say, wow, that's me, or wow, I know exactly what that is, and then you can start to heal. Once you give it a name, you can start to heal. So on this episode, we talked about intentions. State your intentions so you know where you stand. And you can hold that person accountable to the answers that they give you later. If they start messing up, you can say, "Remember, you gave me your word." That's what it's for. We know we're gonna encounter people that lie, but you give a liar a bar to set, and then they have to meet that, or they got to go. You got to be strong enough to do that. So anyway, we're gonna get out of here, and that ends the podcast portion. We'll see you guys next week. All right, podcast portion is over. Anybody got any last comments in the comments? Thank you, Michelle, for coming by.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We have 11-year-old Sydney Jones producing in the back. So everybody say hi to Sydney. Sydney did her thing tonight.
Yes, great job.
For me, so I didn't have to. So we thank you for that, Sydney. So I'm gonna give it like a minute, and if I don't see any new comments come up, we're gonna get out of here. Jesse Love said I can't lose my piece to be put into pieces. That's real. Mm-hmm. So we see a lot of folks on here. Jackie Bester. Everybody saying hi, Sydney. I know you see that in the background, Sydney. Everybody thinks you did a great job. So she's been loving doing the producing and training in the background and being a part of the show. So I thank her for that. And we're going to eventually try to get her face back on the screen. But right now, her being a producer, I'll take what I can get. So anyway, guys, we're going to get off of here. And I thank you all for coming. Like I said, make sure you check that podcast out. There's a lot of episodes, a lot of good content on there, whether you look at it, the visual part or the audio. Like if you're in your car, you can listen to it in the car. So go ahead and check that out. This episode was today. I'll have this episode up by tomorrow because I'm going to go ahead and edit it tonight and put it up tomorrow. And then I'll announce that it's there and you guys can go listen to it in your car if you missed it and you can't like look at the video because you at work, and you can just put your headphones on and just go. So anyway, thank you again, Michelle. Thank you, everybody that tuned in, and anybody on the replay, we thank you too, and have a good night. See you next week.
Okay, everybody wants good love, that's true, I know. Derrick Jones about to break it down with the relationship gumbo. Welcome to the podcast. Ain't no doubt we all need this, cause better relationships need better ingredients, so if you want better relations, it's about communication, finding love, staying together. We all wanna make it better, yeah. Derrick Jones, the host, your relationship coach. Thank you all for tuning in. Relationship gumbo.